This man was literally transformed into a walrus. He had thousands of stitches all over his body, covered in scars. He looked extremely hideous. What kind of deep hatred could possibly lead to such cruelty? The man named John was a radio host. He specialized in finding strange stories to tell his audience. They came across a video of a man mutilating himself. He had cut off his own leg. When the two of them saw it, they burst into laughter and used it as material for fun. In order to dig deeper into the story, John specifically went to Canada to interview the man in the video. But he was a step too late. The man had committed suicide due to cyberbullying. Without an ounce of pity, John even called to complain about why the man couldn't have waited until after the interview to die. After that, he saw a flyer in the restroom. The owner of the flyer claimed that he had a wonderful sea adventure and possessed experiences that no one had ever heard of before. He was more than willing to share his story. John was immediately intrigued and dialed the contact number on the flyer right away. Then, following the address provided by the owner, he arrived at a remote and luxurious mansion. The owner was an amiable old man who poured John a cup of tea and then started to tell his story. He claimed that when he was young, he was a chef on the sea. Once, he encountered a shipwreck. The ship unfortunately hit an iceberg, and only he survived. It was a walrus that saved him. But just at that moment, John fainted and fell to the ground. When he woke up again, he found himself in a wheelchair and his calves had lost all sensation. John lifted the blanket and to his horror, he saw that his legs had been amputated below the knees. He suspected that it was the old man who did it, but the old man said that he had been bitten by a venomous spider and that he had amputated John's legs to prevent the venom from reaching his heart. John also found that he couldn't lift his hands. The old man told him that the anesthesia was taking effect and also informed John that he was going to transform him into a walrus. John panicked. He couldn't believe that such a perverted thing could happen to him. He tried to scream for help, but since it was such a remote place, there was no one around. At night, when the old man wasn't paying attention, he managed to find his phone and immediately called his girlfriend. But no one answered the phone on his girlfriend's end. John had no choice but to leave a message, asking her to call the police immediately. Just then, the old man suddenly appeared and knocked him out. Finally, the old man placed John on the operating table, prepared all the necessary instruments, and then, following the instructions on the wall, began the transformation stitch by stitch. When John woke up again, he no longer looked human at all. He had become a walrus with thousands of stitches all over his body. With John's helpless howls, his nightmare had just begun.